President Trump promised a mass deportation campaign.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
1 year later, we wanted to know, is the Trump administration doing what it promised?
I haven't done anything.
And at what cost?
No.
The once unthinkable seeming more possible by the day.
The President of the United States essentially just declared war on a major city in his own nation.
Mass detention, violent arrests, troops in cities.
Estamos prácticamente secuestrados.
The largest federal migrant detention center in American history has opened its doors.
Here's 1 year in President Trump's mass deportation campaign.
If you continue to follow or impede, you will be arrested.
This immigration crackdown has been one of the administration's most high-profile efforts, with memes, Instagram reels, and dramatic ride-alongs. The administration promised transparency.
President Trump is truly the most transparent and accessible president in American history.
But much of what it has done has been obscured. Agents are masked, the administration is withholding data, threatening free speech, and limiting oversight. This started on day one.
This is actually an executive order designated.
Among Trump's first actions was to sign a flurry of executive orders. One aimed to revoke birthright citizenship. Another declared a national emergency at the southern border. Border crossings plummeted, and there was a shift of enforcement into the interior. So you saw an escalation of arrests in the interior of the country, something that we hadn't seen before.
Here in New York City this morning, we are getting the dirt bags off these streets.
Look, Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
I started deporting people to countries they're not from.
The U.S. began flying hundreds of migrants, mostly from Asian, Middle Eastern, and African countries, to Panama.
And for the first time, took immigrants detained on U.S. soil to Guantanamo Bay.
We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people.
That was one of many firsts. ICE began to target students and academics, people with visas and green cards.
Don't worry about it. You're happy. You're gonna have to come with us. Don't worry.
Federal immigration authorities arrested a Palestinian activist who helped lead last year's student encampment protests at Columbia University.
A second person involved in last year's pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University was arrested.
Administration officials insist they're going after criminals and the worst of the worst.
These individuals are the worst of the worst that we pulled off of our streets.
Who are they?
Murderers, rapists.
But the majority of people detained in 2025 have no criminal convictions. Only about 7% had been convicted of a violent crime. About a third have no criminal record at all. In March, the administration defied a federal judge when it flew more than 230 Venezuelans to a maximum security prison in El Salvador.
DHS Secretary Noem did a house call to check on Venezuelan gang members Trump kicked out of the country.
I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here.
That was a bad group of, as I say, hombres.
It was a signature moment of the administration pushing moral and legal bounds. We worked with Venezuelan journalists to track down records from several countries and obtain internal government data. It showed that the vast majority had never been convicted of a crime in the U.S. Only 6 had been convicted of violent crimes. And nearly half of the men were deported in the middle of their immigration cases, which normally would have protected them. Instead, they were taken to the infamous Ecot prison where they described being tortured. Back in the U.S., the crackdown intensified.
Los Angeles is a safer place. Since we won't have politicians that'll do that, we do that ourselves.
Trump deployed the National Guard to Los Angeles.
It was called Operation Trojan Horse. DHS drove those trucks into a parking lot of a Home Depot.
Washington, D.C.
Los operativos de ICE llegaron al corazón de Washington, D.C.
Portland.
Things got pretty heated out here at the Portland ICE building last night.
And Chicago. Around midnight on September 30, federal agents raided an apartment building there. About 300 law enforcement agents rappelled from helicopters, knocked down doors, and hurled flashbang grenades. They arrested 37 people who they said were in the country illegally. We identified 21 of them. Only 3 had criminal convictions. Prosecutors did not file charges against anyone arrested that night. The enforcement is sweeping up more people without criminal records, and agents are increasingly using aggressive tactics. We found 40 incidents where agents used chokeholds and other potentially deadly tactics, including on a teenage boy. Experts we talked to say some of those tactics violate the government's own policies.